Good morning. Welcome to GCSC Corporation Catchup. My name is Jonathan Hudson, and as always, joining me is our Superintendent, Dr. Olin. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great with the sunshine.
I'm happy it's spring.
Yes, right? It's here.
Yeah, the fastest time of year, they say. So with that, there's a lot going on. At our last board meeting, we found out that our fourth grade now will be absorbed into our elementary schools.
Yeah.
So can you give us some more details? I've obviously been around talking to the principals, and they're excited to retain their third graders. Many have the space for it already. But what should we know about what that'll look like for the current third graders and those families and parents?
You know, this is something we've been investigating for well over a year. In fact, we had a facility study done in the spring of 2024. We got those results in late March. We actually had those presented at a board meeting. It didn't happen until June of 2024, but that was one of the recommendations that they had made. We have plenty of space in our 4 elementary schools currently, and that's one of those things where it is so hard for people to wrap their head around it, because you see all the growth in Greenfield, new houses popping up, and the city will tell you we have about 100 new plots a year that have been become new homes. So we are growing, and as a city, we may hit that next threshold of about 30,000, which takes us up to that next tier of a city. So understand that a city can grow, and at the same time, a school enrollment can decrease a little bit. Well, how does that happen? We had such extreme growth in the 1990s and that first decade of the new millennium that we were growing very quickly, and the people that were moving here were having a lot of school-aged children. A lot of those families have chosen to age in place. When their kids leave school, they still stay here. So we don't have the same type of growth now that we were experiencing for about that 20-year period of time. So we've had this subtle decrease in enrollment really each year over about the last decade. We peaked at 4,600 kids in 2012. So yeah, it's been a decade. We've been dropping a little bit since then. I give you that long story to say that's created a lot of additional space for us in our elementary schools, because in 2010, we pulled 4th and 5th grade kids out of the elementary school, created the intermediate schools out of Maxwell Middle School and Greenfield Middle School, having grades 4, 5, and 6 there. So right now, the facility studies will tell you, you can walk through our schools and we have enough ample space to put 4th grade back there. So you don't put them back there just because you have the space. Beyond that, when you look at research, it'll tell you very clearly elementary school kids perform better the longer they stay in an elementary school. What do I mean by better? Academically, their attendance rate, behaviors are better. So we have the space. Research tells us it's better. Why wouldn't we do it? So that's why we've chosen to do this. And this is not a decision that our school board took lightly, not a decision that the administrative team took lightly, because change is hard for people, for all people. So we did take our time on this, looking at all the pros and cons, but all of that reflection, we decided we would just go ahead and make that happen for next year. Now, I want to make sure people understand there are other things we're looking at in terms of gaining some efficiencies as a corporation, trying to create some more space for preschool. We have 8 classrooms right now. We could open 2 more right now. We have a demand for that. We'd love to do that in one central location. And again, if there are things we can do to better prepare our kids in grades 4, 5, and 6, we want to do that. There are some opportunities that kids don't have today as a 6th grader that they had in 2009 when they were part of a middle school. We'd like to create those opportunities for them again. Certainly that's on the athletic side, it's on the performing arts side, it's on the club side. So this is really the first step that we're taking. And I can't tell you exactly what that next step is going to be, but we're going to continue to look at some options. That could include us going to 1 intermediate school instead of 2. We'd certainly gain some efficiencies there with staff and could provide some more opportunities for kids. That could include us putting 6th grade back into a middle school at some point. So we're trying to weigh those options out and be very transparent about that. Unfortunately, those things do have a cost to them. That's something that as a community, we're going to need a lot of people to weigh in on that decision. That only gets complicated by some of the things that came out of Senate Bill 1 here in the last 2 weeks. in terms of what that does with our assessed valuation, what that would do with tax rates, what that does with our ability to borrow in the future. So we're not going to jump right into that. We're going to take our time looking at those options. And I know I've given you a really long answer to fourth
Yes.
grade and the restructuring that's happened, that will happen starting in the fall, but there are more steps that we will likely take in this.
I guess, I would ask, how is it that you guys are able to balance making these decisions when things constantly change? You have to look at things almost on a year-to-year basis, but you're trying to make the best decision for the corporation. And just for those out there, how does this affect the staffing of the fourth grade teachers, and where will they land?
Right away, we got out in front of this and wanted to have we've had meetings with our fourth grade teachers specifically, kind of told them some of the things that we've been considering. Obviously, we had a large number of our fourth grade teachers that were at the board meeting last week. Right away, we sent a survey to them. We want to make sure that we're trying to gauge what their interests are, in terms of whether that's teaching a specific content area within a certain building, or whether it's a certain colleague they want to continue to teach with. We've heard back from, I think, 15 of the 16 teachers on that already. We're working with principals in terms of where teachers will land based on those requests that were made. We want to make sure we're following up with teachers quickly so that they'll understand what building they're going to be in, what classroom they're going to be in, that they understand we're going to take care of the physical move for them. They're going to have to box things up, but we'll get things moved to the new classroom. We want to make it as seamless as possible for our staff. And most important to me, as a third grade student, when they go into a fourth grade classroom next year, I don't want them to know anything different. I mean, I want them to know that everything has been thought of, that we're going to take care of their learning needs.
Awesome. Well, I know it's always a lot of work, but I know it's going to work out just fine. We'll retain the third graders. They'll have another year, and I think it'll be a great year next year. So we're looking forward to those changes and moving forward. Speaking of which, Jeff Cleveland, now we can announce. It's been out for a while, but he's the new junior high principal. He's obviously been there for a while. For those that don't know Jeff a little bit, can you tell us about him and why you think he'll be such a great fit?
Well, I'm confident Jeff's going to do a great job at the junior high school. Jeff is in his fourth year with us now. Third year with us, at the junior high school, where he has been the assistant principal. Jeff lives here in Greenfield. He has two daughters at the high school here, so though he's only worked here for 3 years, he's been a big part of our larger community. Very experienced in terms of the things that he has done as an educator. He was an assistant principal in Warren Township for a while. Long before that, Jeff was a music teacher, a band instructor, so he's had many experiences leading large groups of people, working with the community. I think that our families that have worked with him over the last 3 years would agree that he is very much kid-centric. He wants to do the things that are in the best interest of children, but he's so easy to work with. He listens well. I just know that staff overwhelmingly came forward and told me and our administrative team and our board that that's who they wanted to work with. We did go through a very rigorous process. We had a lot of people interested in that job. We had a lot of strong applicants, but Jeff emerged as our guy at the end of that. And I like to see that selfishly when our internal candidates rise to that occasion and show that they're equipped for that job. Jeff was one of those people. Now we'll take that a step further. Since we met, yes, Jeff was named the principal. We've also hired an assistant principal.
Oh, great.
We hired Kayla Arguello. Kayla happens to live here in Greenfield as well. She's been an assistant principal at Muncie Central High School for the last couple of years. She was an assistant principal at Decatur Middle School before that. So again, someone very highly qualified who happens to live in our community that will be joining that team at the junior high school. So I'm really excited about that leadership team that we have in place for next year.
Yeah, great choices. And, it's always nice, like you said, to have someone internal that you guys know that the staff has already worked with. And, obviously Jim is difficult to replace with his experience, but Jeff has formed a good relationship with him. So we're looking forward to, just as a high school, getting to know him as well. So I think that's going to be great. Next up, we have new diploma changes. There's a lot going on with that.
There is.
So I think we'll just focus on kind of work-based learning in this employment seal. Obviously, we have our Career Center coming. We're trying to provide a lot more off-campus opportunities. What can you speak about that we're trying to do to equip our students that want that employment seal to be able to leave high school, gainfully get great employment?
I'm going to start with the last phrase that you used, that are students that want this, because certainly students have some options here.
Right.
I want to make sure that we're very clear that for our students who want to go on to a collegiate experience, we will continue to have very rigorous course offerings that students are well prepared for college if that's what they want to do. But there is a reality. We have a number of our students that don't want to do that, and that's fine. We have many great job opportunities for people to have make a very livable wage doing other things. So if students want that junior and senior year, this new diploma really creates that avenue for that. So we have dropped some requirements of courses that have been required for many, many years,
right,
like social studies
yeah.
and world language and things along those lines, even PE, dropping some of those requirements. Making those partnerships with our community businesses is something that we are very, very much committed to. Finding ways to connect our students to those opportunities that they can get those seals, get work experience, and get paid while doing that. I think it is a great opportunity for our students. We've got a wonderful administrative team here, school counselors that are helping to make that happen. We have some extensions through our business department that will be helping with that as well. I can't tell you that we have all the answers right now because the ink hasn't even dried on.
I'm not sure they have all the answers.
No, they don't. But I am excited about the opportunities that this will create for our students. It is natural that it will fit into some things that we're doing at the Career Center, HC3 over at Amplify, which if you've not driven there recently, you can see that vertical construction has started there, and that will open in the fall of 26. So the timing on that is good. That's not the only place that our kids are going to get some of those workplace experiences. Many of those will just be in businesses in our community throughout not only Greenfield, but the county in general.
Gotcha. Yeah, so once again, that's a great opportunity for some students, absolutely. Like we've always done the academic side very well,
Yep.
preparing kids for college, but I think having a special niche for those certain kids that just want to work, I think is excellent as well. So hopefully that helps with our graduation rate, motivating our students, and making sure that we're providing them the best opportunities. I think that's our goal.
That is my goal, that when when a young adult walks out of our doors after graduation, that they are prepared for whatever that next step is. If that's going to college, we want to make sure they have that foundation. If it's going to the military, we want to make sure that they've had those experiences they need here to be prepared for that. But if it's going into the workforce, we want to make sure those foundations are there as well, those employability skills and experiences in those fields.
Absolutely. So wrapping up, we have one more thing. We have the spring musical. We always look forward to the spring musical. It's always a sign that the school year is kind of coming to a close. Yeah. That's going to be May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. How excited are you?
Well, again, I've had children who've participated in our theater program for years, and I go back to the multiple directors we've had over the last 20 years here. They just always somehow bring it together for something that is very special in that spring musical. I have no doubt that Mr. Dahlstrom is going to do the same. Now, that was even in our old auditorium. I think I'm more excited this year because for many people, it'll be the first time they walk in and see the new auditorium.
That's right.
And I know that Mr. Dahlstrom and that team, Dennis Cole, who works with him, they're going to have something very special there as they utilize the video screen, the wider stage, the deeper stage. I just can't wait to see it. Now, I have not gone in there. Someone snapped a picture and sent it to me last week, and I know that they are going to use the video screen, the digital screen a little bit for some backdrop. But I'm trying to be patient on this one, and I just want to go see it for the first time on May 1st. But I do encourage our community to get out and see it. The musical is always special. This year's going to be just something a little more.
Yeah, just having that technical element, I think is just it's gonna push it up a notch, and really it makes all of us work a little bit better too, knowing that we have all these extra amenities, the thought that went into the auditorium, sparing really no expense to getting the best for our kids. I think they're going to come through, and we're looking forward to it.
I think one of the biggest challenges we had in that old auditorium was with sound.
Right.
I mean,
and I'm a sound guy, so I know it.
And the number of things we did to upgrade our technology, it still had some, just the way that it was created in the late 60s, we just had some limitations. And I've already seen some things that we've done with the wireless mics, and sound is so much better in the auditorium, and certainly lighting is as well. So can you tell I'm excited to see this?
I can tell you're really excited, so I'll be there myself. That's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you, Dr. Olin, for coming. Thank you guys for watching. Get out and support the musical May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and we will see you next time. This has been GCSC Corporation Catch Up.